The desert was quiet the morning I found her, too quiet for spring, when even the wind usually had something to say. I was riding along the old river trail, thinking about nothing more serious than getting a drink in Red Hollow before noon, when a white flash cut across the canyon floor. At first I thought it was a stray mare, but then the figure stumbled, caught the sunlight, and I saw torn lace fluttering like a wounded bird. A woman, a bride, running like hell itself, was chasing her. My horse stiffened before I even reached her. Animals sense things quicker than men, and Ranger wasn't liking whatever he smelled. The woman collapsed near a dry juniper stump, grasping at her veil like it was strangling her. I jumped off my saddle and rushed to her side. Dirt clung to the embroidery on her dress, and her boots were scuffed like she'd been running for hours. Her breath shook, and her hands trembled so fiercely I wondered how she managed to stay upright at all. When she looked up at me, her eyes shimmered in a way I'd never seen, silver around the edges, like moonlight trapped in water. "Ma'am," I said gently, raising my hands to show I meant no harm. "You're hurt. Let me help you." She flinched, then grabbed my coat with surprising strength. "Don't touch the veil," she whispered, her voice raw. "It reacts." I didn't know what that meant, but I nodded. She loosened her grip, and the fabric slipped from my coat sleeve without me pulling back. A chill danced across my arm anyway, like wintry fingers brushing against skin. Something wasn't right. Not with her dress, her fear, or the strange weight in the air around us. "What are you running from?" I asked. "Your groom?" She shook her head so quickly the veil trembled. "Not a man. Not anymore." Her eyes drifted toward the canyon shadows behind her. "It's coming." The wind turned then, sharp, sudden, unnatural. It hissed through the rocks like a voice learning to speak. Ranger reared and pulled at the reins, nearly breaking free. The horses downriver answered with panicked cries. The sky dimmed as if a cloud passed over the sun, except no cloud moved across the vast blue. I took her hand and pulled her up. "We need to move now." She hesitated. "You shouldn't have stopped for me. Ma'am, the West eats cowards." "I ain't one." Her lips parted almost as if she wanted to argue, but then a low, throbbing hum rolled across the canyon, too deep for thunder, too alive for wind. Her whole body tensed. She looked at me with those haunted silver eyes and whispered, "That sound, that's my curse. And now it knows you're with me." My blood froze, but I didn't let go of her hand. Not yet. Whatever was coming. It had just found us both. We rode hard toward the high ridge, the runaway bride clutching my waist as Ranger thundered across the cracked ground. The hum behind us grew sharper, almost metallic, like 1,000 needles scraping against stone. Every few seconds she looked back over her shoulder, not with the dread of someone fearing a man, but with the terror of someone who'd spent too long being hunted by something nameless. When we reached the ridge, I pulled the reins and Ranger slid to a halt. The air around us felt heavier than before, thick enough to taste. Even the sun seemed weakened, its glow dimming like a lantern running out of oil. She slid off the saddle, nearly falling as her legs failed her. "It's close," she whispered. "Closer than it should be. It never travels this fast." I steadied her and guided her toward a rocky outcrop where the shadow gave some shelter. "Start talking," I said, keeping my voice steady even as my skin prickled with unease. "What exactly is chasing you?" She pulled the torn veil away from her face, revealing a bruise along her jaw and eyes so silver they seemed carved from moonlight. "My name is Alara," she said. "I was meant to marry a man in Red Hollow. A good man. Kind, but the curse doesn't care about good or kind. It only knows bloodlines." "What kind of curse?" I asked. She shook her head. "Old. Older than the towns, older than the tribes, older than any story or campfires ever heard. My family carried it for generations. Every daughter born under our name is marked. Some break, some vanish, some—" Her voice cracked. "Some never live long enough to try." I leaned closer. "And marriage would have changed what?" "It would have transferred the curse to my husband." She swallowed, her eyes trembling. "I loved him too much to doom him. So I ran." The wind picked up sharply, slashing sand across our faces. Ranger stomped nervously, ears pinned back. A vibration, faint but growing, echoed through the ridge. It wasn't footsteps. It wasn't hooves. It was like the land itself was waking up and remembering a grudge. "Ilara," I said carefully, "what does this curse look like?" She hugged herself, shivering despite the heat. "It doesn't have a single shape. It learns, it copies. It grows stronger with every generation it hunts. My mother told me that if it ever reaches full form, it won't stop with one bloodline. It will consume towns. A deep rumble rolled across the ridge so close the rocks beneath us vibrated. Ilara grabbed my arm. It shouldn't be this strong. It shouldn't. It shouldn't know your scent already. My scent? I said, staring at her. She looked at me with a mix of guilt and sorrow. You touched me. You offered help. That's all it needs to mark you too. The ground behind us split with a sharp, cracking sound like claws dragging through the earth. Ilara's voice shook. It's here. The crack in the earth widened, spilling dust and cold air that didn't belong to the desert. Ranger reared, ripping the reins from my hand, and bolted into the open plain. I didn't blame him. Whatever crawled from that fissure wasn't meant for this world. Ilara clung to my arm as a shape pulled itself upward. First a shadow, then a distortion, then something like a man made of smoke and bone. Its form shifted, bending and unraveling as if it didn't understand how to remain solid for long. Each time it stabilized. It changed, shoulders too high, limbs too long, head tilting with an intelligence that chilled the blood. Ilara stepped behind me, shaking. It's learning your outline, she whispered. It always copies the one who defies it. The creature flickered, and in an instant, its posture mirrored mine, broad stance, shoulders squared, chin raised. Only its eyes betrayed it, glowing like burning coals hammered into ice. I reached for my revolver by instinct. The creature responded in the same motion, forming a smoky imitation of the gun from its shifting arm. It pointed the weapon back at me. Ilara grabbed my wrist. You can't shoot it. You'll only feed it. Then what does stop it? I demanded. My mother always said the curse feeds on fear, on running, on hiding, but it hesitates when the marked one faces it without flinching. She swallowed hard. She died proving that. I tightened my grip on her hand. So no running? No running, she said. The creature lunged, dissolving into black smoke and reforming just feet from us. Its mouth opened, not with teeth, but with a spiraling emptiness, like it wanted to inhale our souls clean from our bodies. My heart hammered, but I forced my boots to stay planted. Ilara stepped beside me, her torn wedding dress whipping like a flag in the cold, unnatural wind. It hates light, she whispered suddenly. Real light. Not fire, not sun. Light from something pure. I scanned the ridge. Nothing but rock and sand. Then my eyes caught the silver pendant around her neck, the one she kept hidden, under her collar. Ilara, your necklace? She touched it with trembling fingers. My mother said it was blessed. I never believed her. You believing it isn't the point, I said. It believing it is. The creature lunged again, faster this time, twisting into a blur. I grabbed the pendant, ripped it free from her neck, and held it high. The silver caught the dim sun and flared, just for a second, but enough. The creature recoiled with a shriek that rattled the stones. Its shape unraveled violently, smoke whipping away like ashes in a storm. Ilara pressed her hand over mine, helping me hold the pendant steady. Together we stepped forward. The creature shrieked again, collapsing inward, shrinking as if crushed by the weight of its own darkness. One final burst of light flashed across the ridge, then silence. The smoke dissolved. The fissure sealed. The wind returned to ordinary wind.